Hello, welcome to this fresh news series on our program. Say a prayer, guys. May Nigeria never happen to you. My name is Richie Adewusi, but I'm going to start with an apology, a big one. It's a mix-up of time zone things. Okay, it's me, my fault again. This program is always at 8 a.m. here, but then the daytime saving had dropped 1 hour. I don't usually know where that 1 hour goes or comes from, but it's gone. And I was here waiting for 8 a.m. Until my team would, I wasn't even looking at their messages. I'm sorry. Sorry, okay? Yes, we're here. Welcome. Thank you for all your support for this program. All of you that subscribe to be part of our community. Well, I said before we got back this year, we did a thank you video. It was all 75 of us. Now it's more than 75 of us. Thank you so very much for supporting this program, this live stream, this podcast. They say, prayer, guys, may Nigeria never happen to you on YouTube. Thank you so very much. I had to put up a smiley face to apologize first, but the issues here are not funny. There's nothing smiley about what's going on or what's been going on. At a point, I was like, should I really continue this podcast? Really? Because I don't know how to economize the truth. I don't know how to be politically correct when we have to face issues. It certainly is conclusive that the leaders in Nigeria, of Nigeria, they need to go visit ENT specialists. They're not listening. They are not. They're busy politicking still. Unfortunately so. Politicking. And the more unfortunate, I should actually say the most unfortunate aspect of this whole thing is that they have infected, radicalized, if you must, if we must say that, a whole lot of the younger generation. That the people who should hold their fathers and grandfathers accountable are the ones making excuses for them. Making the same arguments that their fathers and our fathers and grandfathers made in the 50s, early 60s. And when, as young people will say, Yawa now gassed in 1966, we are all here. It impacted me personally as an individual badly. And that's the reason I wrote this book behind me. And that's why, when we were taking a break in November of last year, 2025, I was like, okay, we're taking a break. We'll come back January, and then I'll tell my Biafra story. This is still to tell my Biafra story. But then I was praying, I was wishing that for some reason my story will look stale. Like, what's about? Why is he talking about Biafra? For everything, what? Alas, social media is awash with. The boss did this, the boss didn't do that. The Fulanis did this, the Fulanis didn't do that, the Yorubas did this. which is what that's the reaction the politicians want you to have. Why is they fist pumping themselves behind? It's sad. I want you to listen to a young Nigerian making excuses about, or rather, why no, let me not draw conclusions for you. Huh? Please. I will go to tell my Biafra story. But then there's a backdrop to everything. Yeah, these backdrops too are there. Okay. Hajia, Mariam, Ali. The pictures you're seeing scrolling in black and white, they are not, it's not AI. It's not from South Sudan. We're Nigerians. 1966, 67, 68, 69, 70 in the southeastern part of Nigeria. I was there as a child, was one of them. My crime? My father was Yoruba, my mother was Igbo. That was my crime. And everybody all in the East, including my father, was a businessman in Aba, present-day Abia State. I will come to that. I mean, you have enough time to hear, because we are talking, this is all about you getting to have an understanding of what happens to ordinary people. Like these kids here, look at them. I saw pictures, I did this, I saw this live. I was in the midst of people like this live, their age. So I want you to listen to, I want you to watch a video about a young Nigerian talking about the issue of having to put secession clause or no secession clause in the Constitution. And some people should then, after that, I'll come back. We talk a little bit. You watch another video. I'm going to use those as backdrop. Then we're going to telling you my Biafra story. It's not in a vacuum. Unfortunately, the things that are happening now, the things that have been happening in Nigeria in the last 15 years, much more intense in the last 10 years, are like 1,000% of what caused that war in the first place. And for some reason, God has remained merciful on Nigeria and Nigerians. And some people that don't understand what patriotism and nationalism mean are only waiting for some foreign intervention, for some foreign intervention to get your leaders and yourselves to open up and doing. So guys, play me the video of the advocate for putting secession clause or no secession clause in the Constitution, and then people should be lobbying. And when we come back, when we are done with that, we'll come back to the issue of the other thing that has occupied the media space in Nigeria, the declaration and proclamation of a group called the Northern Elders. They are elders, all right, but we'll look at their composition first. You see, there are things Nigerians are missing, not looking. You just have people talking, fooling around on social media. Even the mainstream media will begin to wonder, what has happened? So please play me the video of the guy who's talking about secession clause or no secession clause in the Constitution, please.
In 1957, between 23rd of May and 26th of June, a group of Nigerians gathered in Lancaster House in London. 95 delegates attended the Second Nigerian Constitutional Conference. This conference gave Nigerians the opportunity to make a decision about their future. Nigerians were represented by our regional leaders and government representatives. Although this meeting was to discuss the transition from colonial rule to internal self-government, we had the opportunity to include laws in our constitution that would shape our future. It was on this basis that Chief Obafemi Awolowo took a whole day to present his argument on why Nigeria should include a cessation clause in our constitution. You see, during that period, the regional leader of northern Nigeria, Sir Ahmadu Bello, was threatening to secede from Nigeria. In fact, the Northern House of Assembly in March and April 1953 passed a resolution that the North should take steps to secede from Nigeria. This was because the southeast and the southwest regions of Nigeria were pushing for independence in 1956, and the North was not ready because it was less prepared for self-government, politically outnumbered by the South, and how the Northern representatives were humiliated and disrespected in Lagos. So, during the 1957 Constitutional Review in London, Chief Awolowo saw a need to include a cessation clause in the Nigerian Constitution. He probably envisioned that a time will come in future when a certain part of Nigeria will want it. He gave examples of how other countries included such clauses in their constitution. The Northern People's Congress, NPC, supported Chief Awolowo and his Action Group Party on that motion. The following day, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, who was the Premier of Eastern Nigeria, took the stage to argue against including the clause in our constitution. This was one of the reasons he was well known as a nationalist and a patriot. In fact, he said that once we have a federation, we are indivisible and perpetual. This means we are together forever and ever. He also added that to succeed would amount to treason. So the question was now whether we should have secession or not. According to Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, the colonial office came to their rescue. The British Secretary of State for the Colonies rejected the motion because secession clause will make the federation unstable. Nigeria was fragile and the British needed a viable and coherent state to hand over power to. This was how the clause was not included in our constitution, and treason became punishment for trying to divide Nigeria. Some people believe that if all the regions had accepted to include secession in our constitution, the British colonial government would have accepted it. But because there was an opposition to it, the motion was rejected. Surprisingly, there have been two major calls for secession in Nigeria from the southeastern part. The first was by Lieutenant Colonel Chukwuemeka Ojukwu in 1967, and the second by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who was recently persecuted and convicted to life imprisonment by the Federal High Court in Abuja. While this may seem as an outright disregard for the Constitution, it also raises concerns about the underlying causes and what needs to be done to address them. When Sir Ahmadu Bello and the Northern House of Representatives passed a resolution to secede from Nigeria, certain conditions were given to resolve it. If those concerns were not resolved, they would have gone ahead to secede. The colonial administration met those conditions. For each call for secession, it is important for the agitators to do the same. They should do so within the ambit of the law. They should list their grievances and be open to dialogue. It is also important for the government, both the state government and the federal government, to listen, negotiate, and act on it, instead of only treating it as a criminal offense. Bye.
You had the young man in the video. You see, the buck passing hasn't helped anybody. Okay? The profiling hasn't helped anybody. It's not going to help anybody, never going to help anybody. Okay? A certain group said, we will succeed if you don't do this. Somebody said, no, that wouldn't help anybody. I try very hard on this program, my presentation, not to sound partisan, or I'm not a tribal person by a long shot. Anybody that knows me, I'm not interested. But then, you see, injustice is injustice. Injustice is injustice. I wrote this book 16 years now to say, guys, please, let us go this way again. It's not going to help. These pictures are not Photoshop. They are not AI. But because of this book, some people who didn't even read it, who have still not read it, hounded me out of Nigeria. First of all, for the record, this is the reason for which I'm not in that book. I'm not where I am for economic reasons, by a long shot, no. And a lot of friends, those in power, those out of power, like Richie, what did you write in that book? That's what? What did you say that anybody? I began to question myself too. What did you put? I began to say, okay, what? Now, if you now the mention of the word, the name Biafra, in the ears of some people is like, but you cannot sweep things under the carpet. Well, kudos to the young man that made the video. Towards the end of the video, he came up with the government should also listen. Has the government been listening? Secession is a symptom. The clamor for secession is a symptom of something bigger that has not been addressed, that's not being addressed. It's not true. That video too is faulty. That's not, well, he said there are only two causes for secession. It's Ojukwu and Nnamdi Kanu. See, that's why I have problem with us Nigerians. That's a lie. He said it at the beginning of the video. The Sardana and the Northern leaders passed the bill endorsing secession. So how did Ojukwu's issue become? Ojukwu led a group in self-defense when people had reneged on the agreement they had. Let's not do. You see, the people who removed history from the school curriculum, these are the products of people not knowing history, not knowing what happened, and refusing to know what happened, only reading partial or reading the bits that, support their narrative and their perspective. That's not right. If you want to correct things, don't be partial. If Nnamdi Azikiwe said no, don't put secession, no. We're a nation, let's work towards it. Okay? Tribally, for those of you who are watching me from any other part of the world that are not Nigerians, Nnamdi Azikiwe was an Igbo man. Obafemi Awolowo was the Yoruba man. The Sardana and the Northern People's Congress are how Fulani is basically mainly the political leadership is, you know. So when you look at, has it changed? No. Okay. Now, from that video, there are many falsehoods in it. Many. Somebody else, just before the issue of the war broke out, somebody else from the Niger Delta declared, yes, for cessation of the Niger Delta. His name was Dakaboro. And it was Ojukwu that asked for cessation first. It's Ojukwu that, no, and then Nnamdi Kanu, right? I'm not anybody that follow this stream. I'm not a fan of Nnamdi Kanu. I have nothing against him as a person. It's about his approach to things. The same problems that caused the Southeast, the same approach of let's negotiate. There was a negotiation. It took them to Aburi, in case you don't know, guy. Okay, let's all go back to our regions. Let's function on regional basis. Some people go back and say, look, are you guys, something wrong with you guys? Okay, when you go back into region, all the oil is there, the southeast. So what are you? No, we don't agree again. What happened next? They said no negotiation, no tabling of grievance. No, that's his point in the video. A bloody lie. Things have not happened well. It's on record that Ojukwu that foiled the coup, January 1966 coup in Kano. It's on record. It's also on record about the role he played in the Adakaboro issue. There are errors in it, errors every which way, but then there are things they didn't do right in the other. It's still the same not listening. And then that is where I have issues with somebody or anybody like Nnamdi Kanu. You are protesting marginalization, but you are preaching, advancing, even without having reached anywhere, without done anything. The southeast of Nigeria is not Igbos. There was no consultation. You're not talking with anybody. There are young people there like yourselves who you should. It's not fight. I'm not interested in war. If I'm interested in war, I will not write this book. Most Nigerians don't even know what war is. That's the other reason. And that's the reason why maybe you would have seen it in one place on social media or not. I launched a GoFundMe campaign to produce a documentary based on this book, based on my eyewitness account as a child of what happens to ordinary people in the event of conflicts and wars. Well, before the documentary is finished or done, you don't need to go far now. Please, just if you want to have an idea, just have an idea. Please pay a visit to an IDP camp. Right? It's a fine word for refugee camps for Nigerians who are refugees in their country. Pay a visit to an IDP camp. Spend a day, just a day. Just spend a night in the IDP camp. Maybe you have maybe some little ideas of what you are playing with when these guys are using you to play poker and playing politics. Say it's a game. I saw a post by somebody, a young man, to anybody who's 50, young people, yes. People are beefing me when I'm hailing my candidate. So your issue is your candidate. Candidate. It's all about the stomach. It's all about what I will get. It's all about, no. It hasn't helped. It's falsehood to continue to bandy the narrative that Ojukwu declares for secession. For what reason? It was self-defense. That nobody fooled you. There are hundreds of videos online. And because people don't read, that's why I am opting to produce a documentary based on this book. You are seeing still pictures of, you see live photographs. They're in the archives. They're there. Of what happens for real. Then I would, spice it up by I saw this, I was in this. I was a child alone in a refugee camp by myself. When we get to that part of the book, the book is there. How did I arrive there? What happened? How did I live there? How did I survive? And some people are saying, by the way, please, if you may, you kindly donate to the GoFundMe campaign. It's to produce this. My reason for doing a GoFundMe is, well, I don't want to produce a documentary to sell, a movie to sell. I produce it and put it in the public domain for free. Anybody can download it and watch. That's the reason I'm doing a GoFundMe. I'm not interested in selling it. And I'm not also interested in, downgrading. I'm not interested in downgrading any. I'm not interested in downgrading. Okay, this is. Oh, we have some technical issues here. Mm. Mm. Sorry, guys, I have some technical issues here. Technical issues here. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. Sorry. I have some technical challenges here. Sorry, if we just help me play you could, okay, thank you.
Onwe bien odiko wakasia, onwe bien odiko wejedebe, onwe bien odiko wakasia, weje kubolisa omesi ogadema, onwe bien odiko wakasia.
These are the words of Nigerian high-life musician Celestine Ukwu of blessed memory, sang in this song, Onwunwa. When trial comes, it seems the world has come to an end. But if we look up to God and do the right things, it shall all be well. These lyrics were written decades ago, but they describe what ordinary Nigerians in the southeastern part of Nigeria went through during the Biafra War, and what trials and hardships from that time period still look like today, in Nigeria. If you are Nigerian, or care about the future of Nigeria, watch till the end. Subscribe to Say a Prayer Guys. May Nigeria never happen to you. Comment your thoughts, and share this video. Be part of a community that refuses to stay silent. Celestine Ukwu was born on December 17, 1940, in Enugu State, southeastern Nigeria. Before his tragic death in a car accident in 1977, he had become one of Nigeria's most influential high-life musicians. His music reflected the lives of ordinary Nigerians, their struggles, their hopes, and the lessons they could draw from hardship. His song Onwunwa, meaning trials or hardships, was released in 1971 and captures the essence of survival during times when life seemed unbearable. During the Biafra War, millions of Nigerians in the southeastern part of Nigeria faced unimaginable hardships. Families were cut off from food and medical supplies due to blockades. Children went hungry, often starving to death in their thousands at that time. Communities were bombed and displaced. Towns were abandoned. Ordinary people had no choice but to navigate fear, uncertainty, and loss every single day, for about 3 years. Imagine waking up to a city where markets are empty, and basic necessities like water and food are impossible to find. Where the constant threat of violence looms overhead in the forms of air raids and bombings. Entire families, villages, towns, cities were forced to flee their homes, walking hundreds of miles with nothing but what they could carry, most of them arriving at previously unknown destinations, in companies of complete strangers, only to have to move on again to more unknown destinations. Mothers risked their lives to feed their children. Fathers struggled to protect families with no weapons, no support, and no guarantee of safety. Hospitals did not exist except rare humanitarian service providers. People died from preventable causes, malnutrition, disease, and exposure. Survival was a daily battle, and fear palpable and unending. Even after the war, accountability has never happened. Colonel Ben Billay and others involved in the January 15, 1966 coup were never tried for their actions. They had plotted a seizure of power, yet history moved forward without justice. Decades later, the pattern repeats. In 2025, another coup attempt was uncovered. Names are known, facts are clear, and once again, no accountability follows. This is not random. The structures of power in Nigeria have long protected themselves. Many leaders today are more interested in building personal empires than creating systems that serve Nigeria and Nigerians. Policies are designed to protect influence and wealth, ignoring the citizens who depend on them. Ordinary Nigerians continue to bear the costs of these choices that they did not make, just as they did decades ago. The military, which might have held leaders accountable, cannot fully confront the government today, because many political and traditional leaders are former military officers. Power did not leave Nigeria, it only changed uniforms. And the ordinary Nigerian remains at the mercy of these cycles. Onwunwa reminds us that trials will come. They may feel overwhelming, evil and injustice may seem dominant, but patience, moral courage, and doing what is right can see a nation through. Nigerian leaders need to guide with fairness and human dignity, make decisions that prioritize the welfare of citizens, ensure justice and accountability, provide essential services, and resist the urge to build personal empires. Only then can Nigeria's story change for everyone. Thank you for watching this video. Please share it with friends and family. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Our full live stream on this topic is out now on our YouTube channel at May Nigeria Never Happened to You. Subscribe, comment, share, and be part of a community that refuses to ignore history or repeat the same mistakes. Let's keep Nigeria in focus, together. May Nigeria happen for all Nigerians and friends of Nigeria.
Is it welcome back or sorry or all of the above? They can't stop us. That's all I would just say. This can't be stopped by whatever technology, no, because it's too important. Sorry about that. It's quite some challenging issues here for me to get back on stream, but we're back here. And it's not responsible for any group, any of the groups in Nigeria, more so the elders from any of the groups, to be the ones still dictating without advancing any solutions. Breaking Nigeria up is Nigeria, unity of Nigeria is sacrosanct. What are you doing to unify Nigeria? What have you put on the table to unify Nigeria? You are responding to things happening in somebody else's country. And some people still talk about colonial masters did this, colonial masters did that. And some others are clapping, let somebody come and bomb and divide. And so what would that be? What would you not call that relationship? You think anybody is coming to do anything for anybody for free? The person that wants to buy Greenland, that doesn't care about what any other person is saying, instead of you people to come together, you did in this book, I said it in this book, the whole call about the National Sovereign Conference is just for some geriatric parochialists. When I said it, I was 16 years younger. How old am I now? So maybe I'm even looking like part of the geriatrics now. No, I am not. I am not. It's still the geriatrics that are there. I saw somebody did a video, one of the content creators online, commenting on the election in Uganda about age of the president of Museveni. How old is your own president? Do you know? But that's another issue for another day. We're talking about the irresponsibility. That's where there's no other way to say the irresponsibility that is being exhibited by Nigerian elders. And before we had the technical issue that made me go offline for a number of minutes, I was saying that Nigerians, you are not paying attention to the things you should pay attention to. The Sultan of Sokoto, I'm not saying there's no tribal anything. I'm just saying interrogate things for what they are. And know that while some other group is looking for manna to fall from heaven, some people have planned, have programmed themselves for anything from time since. The Sultan of Sokoto is a retired general. Those groups that gathered to say northern elders, go and check their emails, go and check their backgrounds. I might be generous or conservative to say that 70% of them are retired military officers. What's the relevance? Plenty relevance. Why has it been impossible for the Nigerian military, as professional as the has been in sorting uprisings and crises in other countries out? Nigerian military has grown super deficient in combating terrorism and banditry in Nigeria. What is the reason? Why did it become, fanciful, for want of a better word right now, for military officers to retire and the next place they are going to is the palace? Because in those places, the traditional rulers hold sway on political decisions. So you are now looking at military officers who still have influence in the military, now becoming traditional rulers, religious leaders. And you think that anything is going to change by sitting back down there and believing that, things will happen normally? No. Without prejudice, it's the South that is holding Nigeria up in terms of peace, being peace-loving. Without prejudice, the Igbos, the much vilified Igbos, are the most patriotic group in Nigeria. They are the most peace-loving group in Nigeria. Go and research. You're picking individuals, just like you're saying northern elders. Northern elders are speaking for who? Do you have the youth in the north? They're suffering. They're suffering. They are suffering more than any other youth groups in any other part of Nigeria. That's not saying that there are no challenges. Why have we called this? I understand that during the technical, stress, issues that I had here, you've watched the video, you've listened to Celestine talking about hardship and trials. How else can you describe the time period that Nigeria is now, but the trying period? Exemplified by hardships. You have all manner of hardship. You have those who are seated, who have continued to sit at the table, telling the rest of Nigerians that everything is okay. The economy is, which economy is doing which well? Then the ones that are not at the table, who are waiting for their turns to come, not because they have anything to go to do there, are clapping, wishing for somebody to come and divide. Nobody is going to be worse in case you go and check all the places where they have gone to go and divide. Which of them has settled? Sudan, Somalia, Libya, Iraq, Syria, the old Yugoslavia. Go and check. My concern, because I just said I'm just going to tell my story, learn from it different. And I tell the story of these people you are seeing in the black and white picture and Hajia. What's my obsession with her? Because I can identify with her story. I know the environment that she, if you, in case you don't know, please go and search for Oputa panel. Go and search for Hajia Maria Aliu's testimony. During her testimony, some people were still in there trying to diminish her story, in insinuating that it's some people that must have set her up to come and tell, why are you so? And that's what's awash in social media now. You have some content creators, called influencers, posting every day about who released Awo, who didn't release Awo, wanting to change history. Awo went to jail for a coup. Trumped up or real? If it's trumped up, what was the reason? Who were those who trumped it up? The NPC, Jonathan Elder, still again. Saldana was the premier in the north. Tafawa Balewa was the prime minister. Both of them in the same party. What was Awo's crime? He went campaigning in the north. So don't come here. This is this area. What is happening now? Is it different? They got Akintola to revolt against Awo and the Action Congress. Became allies, and the Southwest became ungovernable. So much so that the government was suspended, an administrator was appointed. Go and read. The elections are coming up. You think you're sitting pretty and waiting for Donald Trump to come and help you, right? It took 6 months between January 15, 1966 and July. It's 6 months. You don't see quelled the 66 January 15 coup. Appointed a pan-Nigerian, if you like, group to be with him. But there was no trust, just like there's no trust now. What happened? He was killed. And since then, what has settled? Nothing. Just like you must have seen in the short video that was played, the coup plotters. Well, look, yes, even when you read the story, you wonder, is this a joke? Somebody plotted it. Somebody went to talk nicely to him. He came to Lagos, was transferred here, did a coup, killed people. And they are now, detained, no trial. also was the reason, part of the reason for the people who did the counter coup of July 66 is also people planned the coup. They didn't try the coup plotters. Today is the 23rd of January 2026. Since October 2025, when there was nowhere to hide was there coup or was there no coup, when they eventually say, oh, there was a coup, there are some people. The politicians have succeeded in distracting your attention, bringing other things, talk about other things, to Nigeria unity is sacrosanct and whatever. Those people who are arrested, detained for whatever it was in October, where are they? What is the difference? What has happened? The media is not asking any questions. Young Nigerians are not asking any questions. You are letting the politicians continue with their politicking as if everything is okay. Everything is not okay. I didn't know anything. How old was I in 66? Maybe 6 years or so. I didn't know anything, but I know enough now. I have read, I've gone back, I'm still reading. Then I have experienced over time. I've seen the same patterns. And then who are the people that will suffer? People like Hajia, people like these children that you're seeing here. Look at the soldiers going their way, just looking at them as if, like, look, these are Nigerians. They were Nigerians. I saw this life. This is what happens. You see, when what they are cooking, when it's cooked, you don't own nothing. You see, that person that's talking about my candidate, there's no candidate. You see, this guy is carrying things on their heads. At a point, they won't even be able to carry nothing. I saw all of that. I will come to that, we are going to about 8 or 9 episodes with my Biafra story. Place by place, I follow the chapters in that book so that it's not story anybody told me. That there are images that are refused to be erased from my memory, not subconscious. And that's the reason we're saying, I agree with the young man who did the secession video or no secession video, in spite of all the, falsehoods and mispresentation that are in. This is a time to talk. This is a time. It's not enough to go and sit and say, you're not talking. You are addressing a foreigner. You are not talking to yourselves to see, look, what is so difficult? Why is it so impossible for Nigeria to operate as a true federation? Why? Why? Group interests, greed, personal interests. I live in a country that is a federation. With the different provinces having their own flags, they celebrate their days, like the National Day, Quebec, and everybody, do they have differences? Of course, yes. Are there differences here? Yes. They find ways to resolve those differences, or at least to manage those differences and move on. They don't sit and say to, if the unity of Nigeria is sacrosanct, what are you doing to sacrosanct it? What exactly are you putting on the table? Somebody is in the South wanting to create a Southern bloc. All the people who should be held accountable for mismanagement of public funds are being crossing over to a particular political party, and it doesn't mean anything to anybody. Down there in the Southeast, the one person that seems to be doing, you have failed governors, people who had ruled that same state, Abia. All of them, I believe, went 2 terms each. All of them. I think so. Am I wrong? I think all of them went 2 terms. Oju Zokanu went 2 terms. Ikpeazu went. Who is the other one? Went 2 terms. And then, when you say 2, that's 8, 8. Is it up to 2 times? Well, now somebody is there and the people can see that there's a difference. And you are beating your chest. He cannot come. Well, let's say if the Nigerians, the young Nigerians, if the people who are the beneficiaries of sins, who would be the beneficiaries of sins like the ones that are scrolling behind me here, or the beneficiaries of the development that is beginning to show up in that place, will keep quiet, to sit back and live for the moment again by collecting crumbs by people who have been indicted, who have cases to answer that they've used influence to quash. They are clapping you into another conflict. Ask questions about what is happening to those people that are said to have planned a coup in October of 2025. Where are they? What's happening with them? Who is shielding them? Why is nobody saying anything about them? Till tomorrow, some groups in Nigeria are still blaming Ironsi, blaming Ojukwu, blaming for not trying people like Colonel Bullier. And Bullier himself, that's why he's in the video. It's not as if he was the face of the 1966 coup, but till he died, he never denied his involvement. He never did. And he vocalized the reason they set out to do what my grounds with it was. Why did you kill people? Why did you, if you had them arrested, tried, locked up, yeah. But then, was that really possible? Would that really have been possible? Even if they had arrested them, how many of the bandits and the terrorists have been arrested? What has happened with them? We're integrating them back into Nigerian military, into yes. So just think about all of this anomalies. How does a country progress with those kind of scenarios? With those layers of injustice? So I'm not with anybody who is saying it's Fulani that is the problem of Nigeria. I'm not with you. It is the elites, the Fulani elites. It's not, the average Fulani person is suffering in Nigeria. There's nothing in the north. And then some other person is talking about the master plan for Almajiris. Who created the Almajiris? What created the Almajiris? Are there governors in those states? Are there governors in the states where those Nigerians who have lived in IDP camps for over 10 years? And do they have governors? Do they have senators? Do they have house person? Do they have a local government chairman? Do they have local government councillors? And they've lived, they're still living today, 2026, in IDP camps. Come on. And you are the unity of Nigeria is sacrosanct. What are you doing to advance unity? Nothing. You're only advancing entitlement mentality. And you've radicalized those after you to have those beliefs. That's why they could steal and loot stupendous amounts of money and nothing happens. When they settle here and there, no, it's not going to happen. We have a poll, by the way, going on. Vote. Will Nigeria ever heal from the wounds of that war? Even the main character that's been accused, before he died, I'm going to play you a video. You might have seen it, you might not have seen it. Of Ojukwu telling Igbos that they should take it, believe, move on, that the war was over. Was it over? I will play another video why himself, maybe when he woke up finally and said, look, this thing is not true, it's not happening the way I thought it. So guys, if you may, please play me the Ojukwu's video. He's saying, you know, this idea of hang up of the wall itself. He was, when I said the Southerners, especially the Igbos, the most peace-loving people in Nigeria. It's not hearsay. I want you to listen to
certain people have created a vested interest in a sort of situation which I personally consider unhealthy for our people. There is a sort of siege mentality which our people have acquired as a result of the end of the war. I believe this must cease. I believe that people must, since the fact that the war is ended, they must feel free to partake, to serve, to benefit from Nigeria. They should have no inhibitions about being Nigerians anymore. They should have no complexes.
He believed. He canvassed for, let's move on. But I want you to listen to his next video. Because you cannot know more than these people. They were there. It is the military. He governed. He's interacting with his colleague, with his age mates, with us. A few years down the road, listen to his second video, what he's going to say in his second video. And then think about where Nigeria is now, today. Please, guys, play me that second.
We have tried to live a Nigeria designed by Great Britain and handed to us. We have found it difficult to live in that Nigeria. We have fought a civil war, killed so many people, and still we have the same problems reoccurring. Perhaps the time has come to revisit the very foundations of Nigeria. We have tried.
You heard him. Maybe it is time to revisit the very foundation of Nigeria. I've said it severally on this program that look, for those who are saying the problem of Nigeria is the colonialists, is how the colonialists put Nigeria, it's not, people may not have chosen how Nigeria came together. You don't choose the family you get born into, but it's your business to now create your own family when you have become born. Nigeria has been, so why has it not been possible for Nigerians to create that Nigeria of their dreams? Entitlement mentality. Some people believe in peace and unity. Some people claim peace and unity that don't exist. Those are the things that led to the war. Nobody is coming to help you, save you. Nigerians, nobody is coming to divide. If you are complaining about what the colonialists did, if you think that the solution is to break Nigeria up, you are joking, you are dreaming. Why are some Nigerians right now agitating for new states from the states where everybody is speaking one language? Why? Address the issues. Splintering things or breaking things up is not the solution. Focus on the main issues. Okay, we've lost a lot of time on the program due to the technical issues. This episode was always going to be an introductory episode for my Biafra story. We shall return next Friday for the continuation, or if you like, the real starting of my Biafra story. Today, so many crazy things happened. I was waiting for 8 o'clock. Meanwhile, I should have been on for 7 daytime, and then the technical issue that we had, I think for about 15 or so minutes, I was off air. But we have to end when we need to end the program. And there are questions here. I will try to take a few that people have sent in. Who controls historical memory in Nigeria? Who benefits from that control? Who controls it? Who removes history from the school curriculum? They are the ones. So there must be something they are benefiting. If not so, they won't or remove it. I heard some people had to eat grass because of the food shop. Grass. And it depends on which grass now. Grass is still now. Don't we all eat grass? Don't we all eat vegetable? Now, have you tried eating lizard before? Lizard. When I will come to the Biafra story, when there are particular chapter one, I'll tell you the stories of how a whole compound will mobilize that somebody spotted one lizard. Lizards. You're talking about diabetes, too much salt will kill you. There are no people. We will come to specifics so you understand what you're playing with. By thinking that the politicians they are not just playing game, they are clapping you into a wall. Ojukwu and the East were pushed. They had no choice but to defend themselves. Yes. Read the history properly, please. They said, let everybody go back to their regions. Let's stay in the regions and let's, start from there. Hajia was returning. And that unfortunate incident happened in the train that was taking her and her children back to the north. She lost one child. Some Igbo person saved her and the baby, 3-month-old baby she was carrying. Go and watch that video. I experienced that. I will tell the story in full. Don't let anybody deceive you. It's not a game. It's not a game. This is the time to talk and stop keeping quiet. Stop the silence. Stop talking about, you have somebody disrespected Fela, somebody didn't disrespect. There are bigger issues you should be talking about. I respect Fela. He was my friend when he was alive. I put him on stage in 1989. For Surprise 89. I respect him and what he stands for. Even Fela himself will slap anybody now that is talking, that's not talking about what is important, and they're talking. Yes, Fela that I knew would be mad with any of those people who are fooling around talking about my father. Yes. So that means you didn't even know who your father was. No, you didn't know him. Talk about what's important. I know you've been talking. Don't stop. Don't let anything distract you. Don't let anything focus on holding your politicians, your leaders accountable. Now, call for them to put things on the table that would encourage that peaceful coexistence. Let Nigeria transition back to true federation, regions. Would it solve every problem? No, not overnight. But it's a start. It's a start. But what's happening now? All that's going on now is they're still jostling for who would take over or remain in Aso Rock come 2027. That's what the whole talk is about. It's not about nobody. They're not interested in Nigeria. They're not patriots. None of them is. From the president to the people who gather, there's no patriotic anyone. Patriot as in for Nigeria amongst them. No, they are business people. Resource control. That's what it's all about. You should stand up, young Nigerians. Stand up. This is a time to not sit at home. This is the time to not keep quiet. I'm doing what am I doing? This what I'm doing here is what I've always done through my life. I don't keep quiet when things are not happening right in any shape or form from childhood. So we're going to I need to end this here. Please, I apologize for all the technical issues that we've had today, okay? And come Friday, and this time now, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, US and Canada, and still 1 p.m., okay, West African time, including Nigeria. Next Friday, we'll be here to, start with my Biafra story. Say prayer, guys, may Nigeria never happen to you. But from here, for us on this program, from me, it's always may Nigeria happen for Nigeria and all Nigerians. I will see you in the next one. Thank you for listening to my rant today because I've ranted today, unfortunately so. I'll see you next week. Thank you.